Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. What a weekend. I can't believe that so many of you have been buying my merch. I mean, really makes me feel great. Kelly and I spent a lot of time figuring out what designs and what sayings. So it's all at heathermcdonald.net. You click on store, you go to Podswag, you're going to see all the stuff. You can order whatever size you want because it's on demand. So check it out. All right, you guys, I'm going to go deep dive into Larsa Pippen. Who's Larsa Pippen, you ask? She is former, now best friend of Kim Kardashian. She was married to basketball great Scottie Pippen. She's one of those girls, Pippen. She was also a cast member with Leah Black on Real Housewives of Miami. I think she only did the first season because she had her 4 kids and lived in Miami. She might have even been married to him. That show was done so long ago, but they've been not together for a long time. And she recently just did an interview on Hollywood Raw podcast, which I've had those hosts on my show. So I listened to it, and listening to it, it brought up a lot of other memories I had of her in pop culture. And we just decided to go deep dive extra for you. So a lot of the Juicy Scoopers have brought it to our attention over the last few months, since about April, that no longer is, because people figured this out, is the Kardashian family sisters following Larsa Pippen, nor is she now following them. Or maybe she's still following them. I don't know. But that they stopped following her. And no one really understood why. And then there was different rumors. So basically what she has said in this interview, which now is getting picked up by a lot of people, not just me, that she said that it was about Kanye. That Kanye was, in fact, calling her a lot at night, 4, 5, 6 in the morning. And by the way, she does talk. Not only does she look like Kim, she was a pretty girl before, and she doesn't act like she doesn't get the plastic surgery. But we've talked about this, how everybody's face is looking the same. It really is. And it's such a mistake because everyone gets the same nose, then they heighten the cheeks just a little, then the mouth gets bigger, then they enhance the jaw, then they do the same makeup, and the same tan, and then everyone's wearing wigs now, and you literally don't know who anybody is. It's just all one kind of golden brown looking delight walking down the street, but it's literally Barbies. Anyway, she is 46 years old. She has 4 kids. She looks great, but her body's been enhanced too, in my opinion, with the, smaller waist and the bigger hips. And it's just all that same look that's become very popular because of Kim's look. And so as someone, I think we all know that from early days of having a best friend. Ever have a best friend? And I remember I bought some yellow shorts and a real cute white crop top at a store on Ventura Boulevard. And I was really feeling myself that day. This was not on sale. My mom must have sold a house. It was around my birthday. And my best friend went and got the same yellow shorts. And she looked better in them. I don't know if that stops bothering people when they're 46 or 40. I don't know. Do you want your friend stealing? It's one thing to steal your outfit, but what about stealing your face? And then now she's saying that her husband was calling her and that the husband, Kanye, in her opinion, she feels that Kim has pulled away from her. She kept saying, there is no big deal. I'm the most positive person. I have the biggest heart. I'm the most easy breezy girl. I want love for everybody. I never give up, but I don't chase anything. It has to fall in my lap. If it doesn't, I don't care. I'm love and light and all this, and I'm happy for all of them, but I never talk about anyone, but, Kim and I shared everything with each other, and Kanye didn't like that. And then Kanye, on the other hand, was also calling me ranting at 4, 5, 6 in the morning. And then once I blocked him, it really became a problem. And then just all of a sudden, I guess she just stopped hearing from her. And so I have some thoughts about a lot of it. And we're going to get into all of it because the biggest bombshell was that she just suddenly dropped in the interview because there was rumors, did she in fact have something to do with Tristan, Khloe's Tristan? Because there was a tweet saying that, and then Jordan Woods had liked it, and that kind of sparked people talking. She up and down denies that she ever got with Tristan once he was with Khloe. However, she was the one who introduced Tristan to the Kardashian clan because she was on a date with him. She was seeing him. They clearly had a romantic relationship, though she said it wasn't serious. She brings Tristan as her +1 to a Kim Kardashian event. Tristan and Khloe lock eyes and start dating. And she says, no, that's fine. You know what? I'm not going to chase anyone. It's just fine. Now, again, I don't care how famous you are. You're going to be annoyed if your best friend steals your outfit and your face and your body. And aren't you going to be a little bit annoyed that you bring a date to a party and you're 46 and I'm not saying her face looks like she's 24, her body 22. It doesn't matter, but still, as someone who's, older than that, if I was single and, with 4 kids, as good as I looked, I'm out in the dating game. It's not great. Then you bring this guy, another basketball player, a hotter, much cuter basketball player than Scottie Pippen, and you finally have a pretty good +1 to come to your girl's party. You're feeling yourself. You're feeling pretty great. And, maybe you guys hooked up on the way there. Maybe you had a romantic night the night before, but he was your date. Within 10 days, she said they were dating and they were a couple, him and Khloe. Now, I don't care how forgiving you have to be to stay in this circle. That's going to be a little bothersome. So I also thought was interesting about let's just stay on the Tristan thing for a minute. When the Jordan Woods scandal happened, another reason people suspected that the Kardashians weren't so pleased with Larsa is because she was given interviews. She went to Hollywood Unlocked. Let's go. I have so many stories here. So here they all are. Okay, here we go. So Scottie Pippen's ex, this was an article we found, had been vocal about Jordan's drama on more than one occasion, which some fans felt was inappropriate. Can't wait to see which version of her story Jordan tells. This is Larsa telling an interview. Hope it's the same one she told at Khloe Kardashian when she checked her. She commented on a video that her close friend Jason Lee posted talking about the situation. So right from the start, Larsa was, acting very pro-Kardashian, like she was right in there, but giving the interviews without their permission, giving her opinion. And I think that was a little weird. Unbeknownst to the world, we didn't know that she also dated Tristan before. So I think she was, in my opinion, happy to slam both Jordan, because she's probably still a little butthurt that anybody's with her former boyfriend, and her former boyfriend that dumped her for Khloe. She's not going to try to save his ass. And she's the best girlfriend. And look, in a non-public situation, if we found out, regardless of our connection to anybody, that your friend's baby daddy cheated with her sister's best friend, you'd be like, oh my God, this is terrible. But you would kind of think, were there some rules? And they asked that, were there ever any rules of hanging out? And she's like, no. I also think since they became friends almost 12 years ago, Kim was in a much different position as far as savviness, popularity, everything. I don't think she made someone like Larsa sign an NDA. Now I think anybody she became close with, whether it's an employee, a nanny, a decorator, anyone like that, a party planner, we know they sign NDAs. So then that way, if you're throwing a party and you get a little frustrated and you cry because you're annoyed or they overhear something, they can't go finish your party and then go on my show and talk about how you cried and you lost it, on your husband. Okay? Nobody needs that. But I think I don't think it occurred to her 10 years into the friendship to be like, hey, Larsa, want to go get Chinese chicken salad at Health Nut, and then can you sign this? Like, I just don't think it occurred to her. Meanwhile, So I think that was a problem with the Tristan thing. But then she said, no, we never got together after that. But I don't think she was a fan of him. I don't think she was pleased about it. I also think, getting back to the Kanye situation, I think it's weird. I think it's understandable that girls, no matter where your relationship is, 10 years, 20 years married, kids, no kids, when you start to share so much with your best friend, um, maybe the husband feels threatened by that. Maybe you're spending too much energy kind of bagging on your husband to this person. And even though that friend is supportive, maybe at a certain point you're like, you know what? I don't know that this is the best situation if I'm going to stay with this man. But what was interesting about her thing, that would be more understandable. And I was understanding it as I was listening to Larsa speak about it. But then when she said, and Kanye was calling me too at 4, 5, 6 in the morning ranting, and I just didn't want it anymore. Well, now this is weird. Now my husband is now also calling my best friend, and now it's really a triangle. I just can see why you were just like, let me just pull away from this situation even more, which I think is what happened with them. Also, let's just go another deep dive. Larsa said that she always thought Kanye was the one for Kim. And Kim, but before that, Kim said, introduce me to Chris Humphries. Can Scottie Pippen introduce me to Chris Humphries? And she asked Scottie, and Scottie said no, but Kim found him anyway. They were going to get married. And then Larsa called her up and said, you cannot marry him. I just know that Kanye's for you. And because we know they were friendly before they became romantic, her and Kanye. But then we found this little doozy and In Touch. This is from April 15th, 2019. So the last Coachella that we were able to enjoy before COVID. Kim Kardashian's ex, Chris Humphries, and bestie Larsa Pippen were spotted playfully flirting at Coachella. Interestingly, this time last year, April of 2019, I was at a Coachella party in a VIP section. It wasn't Coachella, but it was like one of those parties. And who was there? But Scottie Pippen. Just coincidentally. Anyway, I didn't flirt with him or anything. Don't worry. Now, I do think that's weird. Now, even if nothing happened, what are you doing talking to Chris Humphries? You, as my best friend, you weren't a fan of his. You told me not to marry him. And also, what people don't remember is Chris Humphries was quite problematic after they broke up. They filed lawsuits, in my recollection, in which depositions had to be given with the production team of the Kardashians, as well as, I believe, Kim and maybe some other people, because he claimed that that there were things that were fake or set up in the show, causing him to somehow be misled. And it wasn't easy, and therefore it wasn't an easy divorce separation. And I don't know if this is the reason, but what I do recall is that may have held Kim marrying Kanye earlier than she would have liked. Remember, she had North first, and then they had the beautiful wedding in Europe, which Larsa got to go to. But I just think if someone in my past caused me that kind of stress and turmoil, it wasn't like they had a friendly ex-husband relationship. Really, you have to talk more than just going, hey, what's up? Like, okay, you're next to each other getting a drink. Hey, hi, I'm not going to ignore you, but whatever. But to have a long conversation and he's twirling her braids, according to an eyewitness, maybe this isn't true. But if I saw that, I'd be like, really, girl? Like, really? You need to go talk to Chris Humphries at the Coachella, which I'm sure you would not be invited had you not been my friend. Also in there, she said she was out at a nightclub and ran into Travis Scott, Kylie's baby daddy. And then he went back and told the crew that she was flirting with him. She said that was a complete lie, and he's always high, and he must have been very high then, because I was not at all flirting with him. I'm always the girl that just is being nice and hoping to have a good time and having some fun. And, and I think when Kim met her, she was this married mom to this basketball player. She, was a dedicated mom, but then she's out having her fun. And then she even said that. She goes, when the friendship first happened, Kim met me, followed up with me to be friends. We started hanging out. We met through my friend Lauren Ridger. Okay, you guys, only us Kardashian freaks will remember this, but Lauren Ridger was absolutely featured a number of times in early episodes of the Kardashians. She's a jeweler. She's like a very wealthy, I don't know if she's a jeweler. She had some type of style line. Very wealthy Miami woman. And they would cheer her name, and they would talk about, they'd have her on their Instagram. They would go on like yacht trips with her. That was her inviting them. And at one point there was something going on in the drama, and in a, SUV with cameras, and Lauren was there, being a supportive friend. Anyway, Lauren isn't being followed by Kim Kardashian either. So that was a friendship. And I think this happens with new reality stars and with the, Kardashians many, many years ago. You meet these people, they're rich, they want to take you on the yacht, they want to get in business with you, and you're like, yeah, this is great. But then time goes on and you don't really need them anymore. And unless there's a real, like, spiritual connection friendship, I don't know that those things continue. Like, I got my yacht trip, I got my fun time. Our little business deal is done. Am I going to be hanging out with you for the next 12 years? Maybe not. Okay, so there was that. Then, what is this? There were two others. This is another quote from her. There were two other situations where Jordan and Tristan were in the same room together. This is Larsa speaking. And it was like a weird feeling. And Kourtney was in that room. So this was from that same time when the story first broke. So she did another interview. She did one with Hollywood Unlocked, who were the ones who broke the story about Jordan and Tristan that night at that house party at his home. And so she's giving information saying, I thought something was going on prior to it. So is that the story that Jordan is going to tell on Red Table Talk? She got very involved. And then in this interview that Larsa just gave, she was like, yeah, I really don't have much to say about the Tristan and Jordan thing. I'm like, well, you forgot how much I remember. So then Kourtney Kardashian, they said, had a super awkward confrontation with BFF Larsa Pippen, calling her a bully. Now, this is something Kelly remembered from an episode. This was probably like a year or two ago. Oh, they went to Turks and Caicos with Kourtney's friends. So it was Kourtney's friends, not Kim. But it was a girls' trip, and Kim and Larsa, and then a couple old friends that now all work for Poosh were there. And Larsa was very aggressive towards Sarah Howard, who still is a close friend of Kourtney's today and works for Poosh, the big website that she runs. And Kourtney even said, like, you're being a bully. She just really clashed with her and said, was just, and I don't know if she was trying to get a little more screen time. Like, hey, if I'm going to go to Turks and Caicos and have a camera on me for, a week and a half away from my kids, maybe I'll start some shit like a housewife. She was a housewife, as I reminded you. So maybe she really felt that way, or maybe she was done going on these trips and barely being featured, because she really wasn't featured much. Malika of Khadisha and Malika, Khloe's friend, has been featured a lot throughout the years. She is a fan favorite. She's a true blue friend, a tried and true friend to Khloe. If you remember, they had that short-lived show Dash, and it featured Malika and her identical twin, Khadisha, but Malika is featured more. And I believe, because I have some inside scoop, that after a while, these friends, either ask or the friend of, like a Khloe, make sure that their time is paid for. So, okay, I'm going to do this scene with Malika. She has a day rate now. I don't know if that happens for Jonathan Shaban. I think maybe certain people like that don't ask or love to be featured. Hey, when I've been asked to come on the Kardashians a few years back, I was thrilled. I knew that thing would be played a million times. Once was Kim being on Juicy Scoop, totally. Another time I got to, drink wine and swim in a pool with she and her friends who I already liked. What did I just say? Sorry, Chris. Chris was on Juicy Scoop. So for me, I would have never, but I could see that if that was kind of, I was doing a lot of days every year. I was going on trips. I'm not saying Larsa asked. I'm not saying she didn't get paid. I'm guessing she didn't and was starting to like get a little annoyed going on all these years, okay? She also said on the interview, I don't know. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has reached out to me. I've already done that. I've already been on Miami. But you know what? We have heard that there's like an unwritten rule. I've heard this for many years because I've had other housewives say to me, I've read them say in other interviews, when they hate their cast, they're like from Kelly Dodd, I'd like to move to New York and join that cast. I know Leah Black has a residence here. She's from Miami, has a residence here in LA. I think she very much would have entertained the opportunity to go on Beverly Hills. I think there's been that desire to cross over into, but especially between New York and LA. But they kind of don't like that. They don't really like to, it's like recycling an old boyfriend. They don't really want to recycle you on a different city altogether. It's again breaking that fourth wall. It's just something they haven't done yet. Don't say never. But so she's like, oh, I don't really care about reality TV. Well, here's a clip from when she was on Selling Sunset with our girl Dancing with the Stars, Chrishell. And, it's just like the other girl from Destiny's Child. Who's the one that always is like on a looking, what is it? Michelle Rowland is always looking for a house on some reality realtor show. I think I've seen her like 10 times. So Larsa's that. Oh, it's funny. She goes, I wouldn't be, Larsa goes, I wouldn't be, I don't want to be the Beyonce. I want to be part of Destiny's Child. I'm better in a group. And she was referring in that statement, she was like talking about how the most fun celebrity she's ever hung out with is Paris Hilton. Not Kim, Paris Hilton, because Paris Hilton at her parties will just get on stage and dance by herself. And what a fun time she is. So Larsa here is Selling Sunset, and she says, oh, I can't get this house because I need a house that has parking for 10 cars. Anyway, so there you go with all of that. Here's her ex-husband, Scottie Pippen, who she says, we are just best friends. Oh, she also said Scottie Pippen was not, when they were together, he did not like the budding friendship of she and Kim, and that he even said, I don't like you bringing the kids over there because of the way about how they are with their families. Like, that was pretty shady. Trying to say, like, they're an immoral bunch or something is how I interpreted it. Then she said, no, I stood up to Scottie, and I was like, absolutely not. She's my friend, and you can't tell me who I can and cannot hang out with. And she was kind of like saying, like, when it was my situation with my man, I said, no, I'm going to hang out you can't tell me who to hang out with. And then in turn, in this interview, I think she was sort of bagging on Kim a little bit, like, oh, but you're influenced by your guy. I think it's a lot of things. First of all, if you're a friend of a Kardashian sister, know that you're dispensable. They really don't need you. They have built-in girlfriends. Their kids all have built-in friends. They, I hope with Chloe and Malika, they've been friends through and through. But I also think that's got to be hard to be that friend. And, God forbid you do it in interview and you speak freely and it pisses them off that you might have given too much information, yet you want to have your own life, yet you know how much you get from being their friend. You know that they're good people. Their generosity is beyond. But how long can you go? And you misstep a little and you start feeling yourself, or you start looking like them and they don't like it anymore. I don't know. But I think that she now knows, Larsa, that this ship is completely sailed. They are not going to hang out ever again. I think Kim being friends with Paris makes a lot of sense. They grew up together. Uh, I think Paris kind of was really rude to Kim when she started to be a star. I remember she described her ass in a very negative way on like Howard Stern. Um, and then the moms became friends again through Kyle Richards. And Kyle Richards, who's good friends with Faye Resnick, then started, and Faye and Chris used to be friends for a long time. They had a little break once Kim became a star because the Hilton crew kind of had dibs on Faye Resnick. And then Faye and Kim and Chris got to be friends again. And then they brought in Kyle Richards and then Kathy Hilton, who Chris used to be close with. Then they all became friends again. And then the girls became friends again. And as people who watch all this stuff, we love to see that. And it makes sense. And Kim isn't, Kim is featured on Paris's documentary, and Paris is now featured in Kim's Skims velour jog set outfits. And there's something there. My prediction is, unfortunately for both of them, because I think they do have a lot of memories and a nice history together, this friendship has run its course. And the minute your husband starts calling your best friend, and then your best friend is like, can you not have your weird husband call me anymore? I don't know where you go from that. I'm going to discuss a little bit more on my Patreon this week, too, about this, because I also have some other insight that I want to share there and not here for obvious reasons. But there you go. I mean, it is intriguing. And what I love about deep diving in celebrity pop culture is that I can always relate it, and you can relate it to your own life, even though these people are celebrities. And even though there's, $1 billion at stake and high profile relationships, when you break it all down, everybody's kind of had a situation like this. And you're like, am I the Larsa? Am I the Kim? Let's put all these situations together. What exactly is it? So at the end of the show, she promoted her jewelry, and, she's got to make this shit work. And I think she did the right thing. And now you can't get the toothpaste back in the toothpaste. She's basically, we see the shock was that Tristan had dated her first. He, and I think she wanted to reveal his cheating vein. And I think his vein runs through his penis. A lot of people have a veiny penis, and some of those veins are cheaters. I don't know. It is what it is. But, she said, I'm happy for Khloe. Of course, I want them to be together. And everybody wants someone's family to be together. But if it's someone that you dated and they blew you off for your friend, that's a lot to swallow. And you might have just had to swallow something, prior to going to the party. And you might be like, feeling a little full and I'm not too thrilled. But let me suck it up. Let me be a delight. Let me be the friend. Let me take this call again. Let me keep my mouth shut, in her opinion. Let me keep my mouth shut again. And then finally it's just like, all right, really? You're just not going to take my calls anymore? Okay, I'm good. It's over with. Good luck to you. I'm going to do this interview. Anyway, pretty juicy. Lamar, speaking of Kardashians, he was engaged to this beautiful girl who was like a life coach. Anyway, she dumped him. Her name is Sabrina Parr, and she called off their engagement, and she said that he needs help. And obviously, he does. And, it's too bad. Everybody did everything they could for him. And then he finds a new fabulous woman who thinks she's going to save him. And she got out. So there you go. Speaking of other Kardashian men that are constantly forgiven, Scott Disick, we didn't know for sure if he'd gone to the Kendall Halloween party together with Amelia Gray, Hamlin. Harry fucking Hamlin's and my daughter. And, they were just spotted having dinner together. 37-year-old Scott and Amelia, 19, are having dinner together. I mean, come on. It's on. It is on. as Kelly Dodd would say, like Donkey Kong. Okay, it is on. I would not be thrilled if I was Lisa Rinna. I really would not. Amelia seems to be dating Scott Disick. You know, this is what happens when kids in California, they can't go to a USC game, they can't go to concerts, they can't go to Coachella, they can't rush a sorority, they can't party in the dorms. What else are they going to do but hang out with their other celebrity friends? They meet on DM, and one of them, Scott Disick. I wouldn't be thrilled if I was Harry fucking Hamlin and Lisa Rinna. I would not want my 19-year-old daughter to be dating a 37-year-old father of 3, no matter who he is. That is not your ideal person. But I just remembered that in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we saw that scene where they were going to Bupadabecco for Capri night. Can you believe I got to decorate a room, and PK let me do it all by myself, mind you, to celebrate Teddy's baby shower? When they get there, Kim Richards has a big fake ponytail, and I think so did Lisa Rinna. And they hug and they laugh. Remember, they used to be enemies. Well, we might be in-laws one day, because one of Kim Richards' daughter is married to the heir to Fatburger, which, by the way, is delicious, and we have one here in Woodland Hills. His brother, who is younger than him, was dating Amelia. So they said, oh, wouldn't it be funny if the two of them got married and then we would be related because of in-laws? And I mean, I have to say, Big Kathy really taught these girls to marry well. I mean, it's unbelievable. I've talked about it before. Kim's history of men, look it up. It was like one heir of a billion-dollar fortune. The next one, she had 2 babies with another billionaire. I mean, it went on. She gets her daughter to marry an heir to a huge, fortune. Of course, Nikki Hilton, Paris' sister, married a Rothschild. Hello. Kathy Hilton married a Hilton. It's all really amazing. I mean, it's really Kyle who just, Kyle did marry this rich Persian, prince, or I don't know if he was a prince, but he was a very wealthy guy. She had Farrah with him. They broke up. And she met Mauricio, and he was like a personal trainer, and they both studied together and got their real estate license. I mean, they have just an awesome story, really. But okay, so there's just a little juicy picture. I just remembered that. Anyway, well, she's not dating that guy anymore because she was seen having dinner with Scott Disick. Now, could it be that he wants her to model his sweats called No Talent, or whatever his name of his sweatsuit company is? Maybe. I don't know why you'd have to do that at a restaurant. I don't know why you just wouldn't go through her talent agency and have her show up in the sweats. Maybe send her a pair. Maybe have her just go out in her backyard and have Lisa take a couple photos of it. I don't know. Very juicy. Okay, quarantine breakup, people. It's not even a quarantine breakup because he's working every day. His name is Gleb Savchenko. He's gorgeous. The wife is gorgeous. They've been married 14 years. They have 2 kids. He's a vet on Dancing with the Stars. In fact, his partner a couple years ago was Erica Jane. That's right. I loved Gleb. Gleb. We danced. We danced to a couple of my songs. He twirled me around. He has great biceps. It was nice to be held by a man who was taller and younger than I am. Hadn't happened in 21 years. So they're breaking up, and she is not happy. His current partner is Chrishell. So there's a lot of rumors going around, and let me tell you, the ex-wife put the rumors in her heads because she writes, after 14 years of marriage and multiple affairs, I've decided enough is enough, she says. She told People, adding that her trust in him is irrevocably broken after a series of ongoing fidelities. Okay? Gleb and I have created a family and multiple businesses together, but apparently it just wasn't enough to keep our marriage strong. No, it never is. Gleb's ongoing infidelity and recent inappropriate relationship has created a turmoil in our marriage and absolutely torn our family apart. No wife should ever stand by and watch while another woman gives her husband expensive presents, lures him out to dinners, and seduces him at every turn. Now, that sounds like it's one specific person she's referring to. Last night was the final straw, and I can no longer turn my head the other way. My trust in Gleb is irrevocably broken, and it's time that I walk away, and he's going to sashay away. Begin to heal so I can be the best version of myself for my girls. But then he responded, first of all, I mean, I feel terrible for her. They're a beautiful couple. It's very sad. Obviously, she's had evidence and suspicions before, but there was something in this last one that either made her think it was more serious or more blatant, or something changed in her where she was like, I'm not putting up with anymore. He said, while I continue to respect the privacy of my family, I will not stand by and allow false accusations and internet rumors go unaddressed. He said in a statement from his rep, my relationship with Chrishell was and always remained strictly platonic. Our friendship during our season on Dancing with Stars was not the reason for our split. Elena, the wife, and I had long-standing issues in our marriage. This has been an ongoing situation between Elena and I, and it also paired with poor timing. It's my deepest hope to keep our private life private. So anyway, he's mad that he goes, and I'm disappointed that Elena has chosen not to do the same. Well, can you blame her? What is the expensive gift? What could it be that he got from someone? So there must have been something that she saw, a watch, a ring, something that that she gave him. But I mean, I think this happens a lot. You know, there's been a lot. Didn't the guy from Shark Tank, and I don't know that he was divorced before her, but he married his partner and now they have twins. Yeah. They were divorced before. I mean, you are spending 12 hours with someone. You're in the best shape of your life, which always makes you want to get sexy and bone. You're with someone that has a great body. They're pushed up against you constantly. You then, experience winning together. I mean, a lot of people start to bone because they share a cubicle or an office next to each other. Imagine every day you're inhaling their sweat, their perfect abs are against yours. All I want to say is I am still down to be chosen for Dancing with the Stars. I don't plan on sleeping with my person, but I am excited to feel a new body up against me. I'm ready to take it on. Probably give me someone with an accent because I actually, no offense, I don't really like accents. I've never dated anyone with an accent. I like a New York accent. That's about it. So if I get like some Czech guy, don't worry. That's not for me. So just pair me with someone tall because they have to twirl me around. Give me someone with an accent because that'll keep me in check. And, but at least I can have some fun and I won't break up any marriages. That's if the casting person's listening to Juicy Scoop, which I know they are. So too bad. We'll see what happens. But also, a lot of these affairs happen, and when it ends, just like a movie set. So if he does not end up with Chrishell, you can believe that she was wrong this whole time. Or I guess we'll never. The only people that really know the truth are the two of them, unless she walked in on them. Everything else can be explained away. So who knows? Too bad. And then, speaking of everyone's face looking the same, then I pulled up this photo and I go, oh, the wife was so pretty. No, that's Chrishell, because everyone has the same face. They look alike. Okay, I'm watching Southern Charm. We're 2 episodes in. And God, I really enjoyed it. I really like it. Okay, so let's get to the cast, and then I'll go back to the new guy. So there's a couple new cast members, and as you know, a bunch of people left. Naomi left, the other girl who was the other hairdresser left, and Cameron, who was the kind of the head of the show next to Patricia, she left. And we didn't really know why she left, but now we kind of know why. So they're gone and they're starting to film. And I presume it's about, maybe this is January, February when they're filming this, because then we do end up seeing all the Corona stuff later. So we have a new girl named Levy. This is her, and she's very pretty. I think she's like Middle Eastern. She's married to a nice looking black guy. They have an adorable son together, and they have all these very successful businesses. So, I mean, very smart of them to get on the show, because obviously they have a lounge, they have an up sport, all these places in Charlotte, like 5 restaurants in Charlotte. So they're like the Lisa Vanderpump people. And she was friends with Cameron before. So even though Cameron's not on it anymore, we got to see little glimpses of her, and then she got picked up for the show. Then we have Catherine. She is the gorgeous redhead who had 2 children out of wedlock with the accused sexual assaulter, Thomas Ravenel. We thought we'd never see Thomas Ravenel back on the show. He was just featured in the episode because she's now living with him with the 2 kids while her place gets fixed or something. She also reveals that they slept together one night. I mean, kind of amazing. Shep, who's been on my show, he's been on the show since the beginning. He had some very unfortunate Instagram stories that showed him being a real asshole to a woman collecting cans, in which then they showed it on the show. He since went to therapy and got a girlfriend in his 20s, and he seems to be much happier. Austin is with this girl, Madison. And Madison is gorgeous, and she is a single mom and a hairdresser, and she does Patricia's hair, and Patricia is the matriarch. And she just has everyone come over, and she likes gin martinis because vodka is very déclassé. And oh gosh, Peaches, this is my dog Peaches, and Michael makes my martinis for me. And her son Whitney is who is kind of barely in the show, but he produced the show and made the show happen. Can I just say, I want to be Patricia. I want to be on a reality show in about 20 years where I just sit in a beautiful chair and I have like a little dog and I have someone make me martinis, and then I just stir the shit with all the 30-somethings that are on my show. Because all of a sudden she acts like she's in love with Madison and she thinks Madison's the greatest girl ever. And she's like, you don't need to be with Austin. What is he? He's got a beer company that's in 3 stores. No, Madison should be with Budweiser. So there's a new guy on the show, and his name is Peter. What's his name? Peter?
No, not Peter. John Pringle.
Oh, his name is John Pringle. But he does look like little person Emmy winner Peter Dinklage. If Peter Dinklage was not a little person, they would be hard not to get mixed up in a room. Very good looking guy, and he was Shep's college friend, and he is now on the show, and he already made out with Catherine after a party, but he seems to be pursuing Madison because Patricia wants him to. And he's divorced with 2 kids, and he does something in commodities, but guess what he also does? He's a singer, and he also went to acting school. So he got divorced. His wife's in San Diego. He comes from a big, prominent family. Like his home was owned by some Confederate colonel or something. And of course, Patricia's like, now, are you any part of the Pringle dynasty? And he's like, oh, yes, that's my grandfather. Oh, I think Madison, you and he should get together and, let your little boys play together. I like that. So anyway, it is really enjoyable. And Craig's over here. He got his pillows going. And so the juice happened because Catherine, redhead Catherine, on camera with the pillow prince, Craig, says, well, I heard Cameron's husband's having an affair, and his face just drops. he's like, holy shit. We've all been on the show long enough. Cameron is no longer on the show. She left the show. You know who I don't think that liked that she left the show? The producers of the show. I don't think they enjoyed that the girl that narrated the show, now it's Shep narrating it, that they let Cameron have everything she wanted. Her husband was a doctor. He was barely featured. He was like the Tom Girardi of the show, where he'd show up for one party and like not be mic'd. And then Catherine drops this bombshell that she heard that there's rumors that her husband's cheating. Then she goes, I don't care. And he goes, come on, Catherine, you can't say that, looking at her like you're fucking saying it on camera. You know that the show's not going to drop this juicy bomb out of, this is definitely going to be in it. This is not cutting room floor stuff. And she's like, I don't care. Cameron thinks she's so sweet and nice. She said horrible things about me. And they flash back twice in one episode, all the horrible things that Cameron has said about Catherine. She doesn't come off great. This production team is not happy with Cameron. And then, so anyway, it's pretty juicy. And I suggest you guys all watch. I'm into it. Johnny Depp, you guys, after he lost his lawsuit, after it's believed that Amber, what's her name? Amber Heard did not shit the bed, that it was a small dog, that I don't know if he was ever deposed or if his asshole was inspected, but it was concluded by the judge that they don't believe Amber Heard shit the bed. This all came out because he was suing a tabloid who said that he was a wife beater, but then it was proven in court that there was enough evidence to believe that he might have been. He's the one that, brought this defamation lawsuit and lost. Now that it's all out there, none of this would have been out there had he just been like, whatever, it's a bad marriage, I'm glad it's over with. He was forced to resign from his role in The Fantastic Beasts. So he had to do his little, speech. He's being nice about it because he's like, hopefully I'll sit back for a year or two and I'm going to be able to get roles again. I think he will be, because the public seems to be very much on his side. They were like, we don't necessarily believe her, the judge. They're suspicious of the dog situation. They don't know anything about the dogs saying it. No, I'm just kidding. But they seem to be believing that there's definitely two sides to the story and that he is not, someone that's terrible. I just found that kind of interesting. So I'm not saying how I feel about it. I'm never going to watch this Fantastic Beast thing. I was like, what is this? Like a comic strip thing that everyone's like crazy about? Like, he shouldn't be that person. And then you said, no, it's a J.K. Rowling thing and about wizards. So I guess he was going to be a wizard or return his role as a wizard. Ugh, I don't care. But if he comes back in a couple years in some juicy role, I'm sure that'll happen. He just needs to lay low, let this go a minute. Kelly Clarkson, as I said, I knew it. She's pissed. She's pissed at the ex-husband. She said, we're going to have such a good time co-parenting together. No, you're not. No, it's not going to be that great. Because his father was her manager. And the manager, father-in-law, ex-father-in-law to be, is saying she owes him $1.something million in commissions. And she's saying, no, I don't, because there is this law in California, and this always gets brought up when a manager says an artist owes them money. Let me do a little explanation to you people. There are agents, that's CAA, William Morris. There, you have to obtain a talent license, like you would obtain a license to be a doctor or a license to sell real estate in California. You have to get this license. With that license, then you can procure work. Somewhere along the line in entertainment, which is confusing, is people presented themselves as talent managers. I had them throughout my career up until, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago, I think I got rid of my last manager. And it was weird because it always seemed they kind of always had more of an interest in your career. And so you'd pay them 10%, and then you'd pay the agent 10%, and then you'd pay a lawyer 5%. And it was weird because sometimes I'd get a deal and I'd be like, okay, so I'm going to pay the manager 10%, who is talking to the agent all the time. So they like work together. The agent brings the contract to me, and then they go, okay, and then you got to pay an entertainment lawyer 5% to look at it. I'm like, well, isn't there like a floor of lawyers at the agency to look at it? Or couldn't you guys, with your knowledge of putting things together, read this contract and realize what's problematic? No, we don't want we don't want to be sued later on if you don't like it, is what it is. So now you're 25% out of your pay. I mean, it's and you're like, So there has always been this gray area of, can a manager procure work? But also, you don't sign a contract with a manager. It's like this handshake. But all you need is some evidence, like an email or something, where the manager would say, hey, I talked to Univision and they want you to do a talk show. And they are so excited about meeting you. You're going to meet them at Starbucks at 11 o'clock on Thursday. You meet some guy from Univision 11 o'clock on Thursday. A year and a half later, you have a talk show. Guess what? Chances are you owe that manager money. He put it together. So she's going to court, and she's saying, based on the fact that he can't procure business without a talent agent, see, I'm saying I'm not paying my ex-father-in-law. Goodbye. And the ex-father-in-law is saying, that's bullshit. You know, we work together with a million calls. We are family. Just pay me what I'm owed for these deals I put together, which are the huge, the talk show, The Voice, all that stuff. So, but you can't blame her for being pissed and annoyed. And obviously, she's not married to the son anymore. She wants free of it. Oh, and remember, Fortune was here and she goes, oh, well, the ex-husband is like a EP on the show, so I'm sure he'll stay as an EP on the show. No way is he going to stay. This is already I'm sure he's like been, my prediction, he's no longer at the studio doing anything. And, but she's super successful. And my prediction is that they'll settle. She'll write him a check for like $800,000 and we'll call it a day. That's what's going to happen. They're going to settle out of court. And she's going to be, and they're just be done with it, Kelly Clarkson. Move on. You and Reba need to go to lunch. Okay. Dr. Dre's estranged wife is demanding to know if he fathered children with other women during their marriage. Why? Why would she demand that? How is that going to help her get her money? I don't get it. Because in my opinion, do you want to know? I wouldn't want to know. She's got like a bunch of kids with him. If he fathered some kids and he did some deal on the side that didn't involve, an actual percentage of his income, for people that go through child custody, if you make $100,000 at like a government job, like a cop, and they know exactly how much you make, that child gets 25% of your income no matter what, before taxes, okay? So now it changes the amount of kids you do have, because obviously if you had 10 kids, you got to be able to live. I think the maximum amount of money that can go to child support is 50%. So I don't know. I guess if you have multiple kids, they just got to split it down. I don't know. But if he had a couple babies elsewhere, and he's paying these women off the side to just, hey, I'll put you in a nice house, you'll be taken care of, but like, we're not getting lawyers involved. I don't know why she'd want to know that. Like, how is that going to help your cause? I just don't think that's wise. So I don't know if she's just so bitter she wants the world to know that he was unfaithful. But would any of us like be surprised if there was a couple kids running around, or is she hoping to have all her kids get to know each other, like get to know their half sibling? I don't know why you would want to know this. So let me know what you think. Oh, now there's some major drama going on with Dr. Kat, who was on my show, and her co-stars. Now, do you guys remember when she was on my show? I said, now you guys are all on the female version of Dr. 90210, all featuring female plastic surgeons. Let me, is there any competition, about that you're all in the same business? Do you want the same clients? No, not at all. We all do different stuff. We all support women. Well, she posted that photo, Dr. Kat, and those are two of her co-stars, and she is not happy. And she says that they were jealous, especially Kelly was jealous of her social media, and she feels that they were jealous that she got a lot of publicity, Dr. Kat, from the show, and they were not getting the same publicity. Obviously, they're pissed because they found out that Dr. Kat was on Juicy Scoop. And I can't blame you, girls. It's a launching pad to a lot of careers, clearly. But Dr. Kat reached out to me, her publicist. Maybe these girls should have hired a publicist. Also, there's a controversy over, if you listen to my episode, Dr. Kat is concerned with breast implant illness, and it's not something that Dr. Kat performs a lot. And I guess this Dr. Kelly does a lot of breast implants. And so they've had some back and forth in which maybe Dr. Kelly feels like she's not supporting her business by bringing up breast implant illness. And then Dr. Kat said, no, you don't support me. You're jealous of me. Then Dr. Kat's husband, who's a fitness model, gets involved. Well, this girl, the other one in the photo, she has a fitness model husband too. So now all their fitness model husbands are getting involved. See, they both have a muscular husband, and the muscular husbands are getting into the female plastic surgeon's social media catfight. And it just goes to show you that no matter how brilliant you are, Harvard educated, UCLA medical school educated, shit bothers people on social media, and they aren't going to fucking let it go. And it doesn't matter if you're a plastic surgeon or if you're a girl pushing flat tummy tea. If some social media person pisses you off, you're going to use that social media to say what you want. And it's pretty fun drama, and we'll see how it unfolds. Okay, you guys, I watched The Bachelorette. I'm watching it, and here we go with what went down last week. So juicy. Here we go. This couple, Claire Crawley, who is the oldest Bachelorette in history, and they remind us of that all the time. She's 39. She was on the show, started 6 years ago. And as you know, she was engaged a couple times, I think, fell in love a few times, did a couple Bachelors in Paradise. She did that weird Canadian Olympic thing. Anyway, they made her the Bachelorette, and they quarantine everybody. They have them at the La Quinta Resort and Spa. So no one's going on helicopters. No one's leaving the resort, going on the trip. Well, 13 days into filming, she said, I'm done. Well, they kind of said, you got to be done. She boned Dale. Let me just tell you what happened. Dale is this hot, tall guy. He's only 31. He was a former football player. We also know that he does modeling for Party City during Halloween. We've seen him in several costumes. Thank you for the people that discovered that. He's very good looking. He does have very tiny ears. Now, some people were disturbed by the tiny ears. I think it's better to have tiny flat ears than large, big Dumbo ones. But whatever your ears are, be grateful you can hear. So they had some mad chemistry. But things are edited the way they're edited. And I think for the people at home, we were like, slow down, Claire. He doesn't seem that incredibly into you. He doesn't seem like he is ready to ask you to marry him. And but she, from the moment he walked out of the limo, was like, that's my husband. Tells, Chris Harrison, that's my husband. I met my husband. And then just the more she spends time with him, the more when she's with the other guy, she could just care less. She's either asking about Dale, getting mad that they teased Dale during a roast. She is just like, where's Dale? They're like going around the corner, getting hot and heavy, which, by the way, you know who also did this and they're still together is JoJo. And what was the football player's Jordan, who was that famous football player's brother. When I saw him go around the corner on one of those rose ceremony nights and push her up against the wall and grind her, I was like, they're meant to be. Now, she probably knew she wanted Jordan too, but she was like, I want to get some fun trips out of it. I want to go on some helicopter rides. I want a bungee cord. I want a few other guys to like want me. But clearly, I'm into this guy. That was JoJo, and they're still together, and they're still cute. Though they're not married yet, but whatever, who cares? Probably waiting for someone to pay for it and not have it with 12 people with masks. So, hey, I don't blame you, kids. They're still hot and heavy. Now, Claire is 39, and she is like, I found my guy. I don't care. I'm in 120-degree weather every day in La Quinta. No offense to La Quinta, but the summer is not the time you want to go. And I don't get to go anywhere. There isn't like a trip to, the Amalfi Coast waiting for me around the corner. And the guys, I am sorry. Dale is by far the best looking and seem to be the most normal. I mean, there's some real doozies. There's a guy that is a boy band manager. Okay, he's managing boy bands. What boy band? That is so shady. That's like I found some kids at the skateboard park and, had them, sing some songs on my iPhone. Like it's just, there was a spin instructor, no offense to spin instructors, but like, I mean, it wasn't and there were a couple other football players, a lot of actually former athletes. But she just could not get into any of them. And she was just like, so the last straw was she said, I'm not going to give anybody a rose because none of you impressed me. I'm just giving this rose to myself. Now, they go for like 2 days of just sitting at this resort, not doing anything, but like going in the pool and working out. And then the cameras come around and like, hey, you guys, we need you to just talk about Claire and what she plans on. And we need you to all sit on this couch together so that so the camera guy's far enough away from you. So you just see like all these guys in the tightest pants with their ankles showing, just like squeezed together, wondering why Claire isn't into them. Finally, she says, she's crying. She's so into Dale. She doesn't know what to do. And Chris Harrison goes, well, what are we going to do here? Like, the guys are starting to realize you're not into them. And she goes, I just want to spend one night alone with Dale and just tell him how I feel. So they meet. That's when she's in this killer red dress. And she just lays it out. I'm in love with you. You're who I want to spend my time with. Oh, she also tells Chris, she goes, I knew he was coming on the show, and I stalked his Instagram. And he lost his mother. His parents were married forever. And he has a sister in an institution. And she lost her father, and her mother is in a facility with Alzheimer's. So she felt they had that in common. She felt he had compassion. And she obviously was attracted to him. And Chris Harrison says over and over again, did you guys talk or see each other before the show? No, I swear to God. All right. He goes to Dale. He goes, she just wants to see you tonight. He's like, okay. She shows up in this red dress. The body is banging. Like, I love her figure. Okay, so they have their fake dinner, and they just tell each other. She tells him how much she loves him. Now, other people were like, God, Claire, like, let there be a little bit. Let him think that you like other people. But she's like, I don't care. I'm 39. I've had a bunch of dicks in my life, a bunch of assholes, and I'm just fucking into Dale. And this place, I'm over it. Let's just start our lives. I don't really care. He's like, well, I'm really into you too. Great. They go back to her place, the presidential suite, and they're just making out and everything. And then the cameras leave, and they completely bone. You see the red dress on the ground. So then they're like, pick up the phone and they're like, yeah, we're done boning. You can come over now. And the cameras come over and film them snuggling. And she's like, see you later. So then Chris comes in. He's like, okay, so you guys have boned. And, apparently it was good. And what are we going to do here? And she's like, well, he's like, I don't think we can continue on. And the next thing to do is there's got to be a proposal. I mean, I think he completely pushed them into it. He wasn't like, either you guys can both leave and continue to date. He was like, so the only way you can leave this compound is with a diamond. And we're going to tell Dale, if he's serious, then what are we waiting for? He better have a diamond. So how do you feel about that? You're getting proposed to tonight. You okay with that? Yeah, I've been waiting 39 years for it. Yeah, I'm really excited. Okay, let me FaceTime Neil Lane, which was not a good angle. And Neil's like, what? Her. And she goes, come over with the diamond. I mean, we don't see Dale picking out this diamond or whatever because he has to get in the car and drive 3 hours with it. He gets the diamond, and then she goes over in her hot jeans and crop top and tells the guys who are all sitting on the same couch, very tight squeeze for 16 of them. And she says, I'm sorry I did not mean to waste your time. I love who I love. I love Dale, and we're done. And I'm sorry, you guys, that you had to come to La Quinta. But honestly, what were you doing? Like, you didn't have the greatest careers. And then a couple of them got a little bitchy. Boy band guy was like, well, you really wasted my time. Another guy said something kind of a little bit nasty, like, really? You didn't know each other before? I swear to God, we never saw each other before. We never talked on the phone before. I just knew when I saw him, and I'm not going to apologize for love. So then she leaves, and Chris Harrison comes in and is like, well, what we wanted was for Claire to find love. She found it in 13 days of shooting. I'm really sorry, you guys. Deal with it. But, that's life. And so then, no, he didn't really, I can't remember what happened first. But anyway, she goes, and they're like, well, I don't know that Dale's going to actually propose. I mean, that's a lot of pressure to ask this girl to marry you after knowing her for 13 days. They're like, hey, Dale, you ready to do this? And he's like, I mean, I guess. Okay, well, here's a ring and come on out. And she's standing there like, where's my ring? And she does her long speech again, which she basically just regurgitated from the night before. And then he's like, I feel the same way. I really care for you too. And let's do this. So he gets on a knee. He gives her the ring. She's thrilled with it. And then that's it. And then Chris Harrison, here's them when they get engaged. Of course, she had a great white dress. Oh my God, whoever makes this dress, it is so flattering. Oh, such a good white dress on her. And then a Juicy Scooper noticed that now this could be a water stain or this could be a tiny bit of jizz that got in his pants after he visited her one day. And then she said, I needed that so bad. The night with him of all night boning, she's like, I needed that so bad. And then that's him leaving her place after the night of boning, then gave her the ring. Then they go in to the room again with everybody on the couch. And he's like, yeah, we don't know, what's going to happen, but she's done with you guys. And this one guy who's like, they call him like a forest manager or something, kind of a weird title. And he goes, I mean, I figured out everything about Claire. I mean, I studied this girl. I bought a book on Alzheimer's and dementia. I'm like, okay, are you pissed that you bought the book? I mean, it doesn't even sound like you read it. He's like pissed that he couldn't give his like oral report to her on their alone date of how he knows about Alzheimer's or something. I'm like, and he also, that same guy did reach out to her. They revealed it in a previous episode, which you're not supposed to do, reached out to her on DM during the pandemic. And she was like, I really needed that and I appreciate it. So if he reached out to her and she talked to him over DM before they met, is she really telling the truth about not talking to Dale when she was comfortable talking to this guy she wasn't even into on DM? Did she? And she was stalking his Instagram and knew everything about his sister and his family. And anyway, so they're together. We didn't know that they were together. I have to say, she did a very good job in keeping us intrigued because about 2 weeks ago, she posted, I bought this ring for myself, an eternity band. That made people like me think she's back alone, single. This didn't work out. No, they're absolutely together. What I want to know, and tell me if you guys know this. So for the months in between of when they left the house and now, they're staying at this beautiful estate. Did they just get to live there for like another 3 months and stay quiet? And how much money do they get that? Do they just get to Uber Eats everything and they just work out and make out and just wait and not leave their house and just like be quarantined in the best possible place? And so they're still into it. He looks really into her, but they do say, he does hint that there might be more of a revelation next week on did they do anything against the rules prior to coming to the La Quinta Inn and Spa. Then they say, okay, guys, there's 16 of you left. Do you want to stay? We have somebody else. She's beautiful, she's smart, she's happening, like, she's hot. Do you wanna stay? And this one guy goes, "Oh, I mean, I don't know. I really felt for Claire." And then they all say, "Yeah, we're going to stay." And then they're all waiting for, what's her name? Tasha? Tasha. They're all waiting for Tasha to come, but they don't know it's Tasha. And then the guy comes in. He's like, "Yeah, I've decided to stay." Oh, of course you did. What else do you have going on? And she's gorgeous. So, I'm happy with the season. I find it kind of fun. It is a little tiring to see the same places everywhere. I mean, how many places can you sit next to a bougainvillea tree and talk? But it is what it is. At least they got us a show, okay? There's literally nothing to watch on TV. I'm very intrigued by this story, you guys. 90 Day Fiance. You remember when I talked about Yolanda and how she was catfished by a gentleman named Williams. And Williams, I couldn't believe it. I never got to see his face. His camera was broken on his iPhone for the 4 months that we were talking. And then my daughter found out that he was in modeling photos, stock modeling photos. And I thought, why wouldn't Williams reveal that he's a stock model guy? Clearly, he took someone. We never got to see Williams. This woman has 5 or 6 kids. Her husband went to prison and then got out of prison and then died. And she lost a lot of weight and she's living her best life and never looked cuter, and she's on 90 Day. Apparently, she is engaged to this guy who is a white tattooed guy, probably, I don't know, 40 maybe. She's about 50-ish. That's not a big deal. They're saying they're engaged and in love. He was on one season of The Bachelor. You said Caitlin Bristow's?
Eliminated first.
But he was eliminated the first week. That's his biggest claim to fame, next to being engaged to her. So people made us aware of it. We started following them both. She lives in San Francisco. He's shown 2 different photos of different rings that he's going to get his baby. They say they're engaged. They feature each other's selfie photos of like he features her taking selfies of herself on his page. She features his photos on her page. They say they're in love. They say they're engaged. There's not one photo of them together. What is this? Is this just a mutual thing to get more Instagram followers, to get Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop to talk about it? I don't know. I'm not saying that they couldn't be a couple. I'm just suspicious because I know it's COVID, okay, but like she does live in Las Vegas. It's an international airport. It's also very easy to drive to. You've never once in all this time met each other. So I call bullshit. Lori Loughlin apparently is not having fun in prison. They thought that she thought she'd be okay. She's very lonely. She's supposed to just like be, she had to quarantine for she has to quarantine for 2 weeks by herself. Then she can go out and she can have a roommate and then she can watch TV. But it's not as fun as she thought it would be. So too bad for her. But she's going to be home for Christmas, providing, everything go okay. That's all for that. This is juicy, you guys. This is the latest paparazzi photos of showing former pastor Carl Lentz, who is Justin Bieber's pastor from Hillsong Church. A lot of Christian Hollywood people go to this church. Also, from E! News, Jason Kennedy goes there all the time. I have a friend, Ryan, that used to work on Chelsea Lately. He used to go there all the time. So I DM'd Ryan, and I'm like, what's up with your pastor? Hillsong just fired him. He didn't know, but then yesterday he sent me his Instagram post, which basically first of all, Hillsong did a post saying we have to let this pastor go because he has broken our moral trust, and we appreciate everything that he's done. We wish the family well, but we can't have someone like this leading our church. I immediately thought he cheated on his wife. If it was anything worse than that, if it was like extortion of money or being with underage girls or boys or whatever, I think that, that would be a bigger investigation. But these Christian churches really do not like it when you cheat on your wife. I know that's what happened with this church out near us, and that pastor. I talked about it when I interviewed Caitlyn Jenner. that pastor was asked to leave that church because of some infidelity that happened with his wife. And then he started his own church, and, and he's a nice guy, but that is why they got rid of him. Now, that's the one thing about Catholic churches. If you want to fall for a priest, you're not screwing up his family life. He's not married. Just kidding. Relax, people. But I did have a very hot priest growing up. He was kind of sandy brown hair and just so cool and normal. And most of our priests were not, and they were like Irish and hard to understand. And this guy was like American and kind of fun. And then he left our church and he went to like Hermosa or Manhattan Beach. And then we found out he fell in love with a girl there and he left the church. But at least he wasn't married to someone. Who cares? I don't know. But this is sad because he did cheat on his wife. His wife's, they have 3 kids together. But of course, he goes on to say what he says, which is our time at Hillsong NYC. Oh, he's just the NYC chapter. He's not the LA chapter. Oh, this is a hard ending to what has been the most amazing, impacting, and special chapter of our lives. Yeah, because he would like go out to dinner with Justin Bieber and Haley Baldwin and have fun. Leading this church has been an honor in every sense. When you accept the calling of being a pastor, you must live in such a way that it honors the mandate, that it honors the church. When that does not happen, a change needs to be made and has been made in this case to ensure that standards upheld. Laura and I and our amazing children have given all that we have to serve and build this church over the years, and I did not do an adequate job of protecting my own spirit, refilling my own soul, and reaching out for the readily available help that is available. When you lead out an empty place, you make choices that have real and painful consequences. I was unfaithful in my marriage, the most important relationship of my life, and am held accountable for that. This failure is on me and me alone, and I take full responsibility for my actions. Whenever a guy or a pastor, I love whenever like a religious person gets caught cheating, and then it's always like, I had an emptiness in my soul. And instead of filling it with the Holy Spirit of Jesus Christ, I filled it with, Susie, who worked in the church office. My ego, like your ego wasn't stroked enough by standing in front of people every Sunday and preaching the word of the Lord and having them think you're great and having Justin Bieber take photos with you and have a song about you. That wasn't enough. It wasn't. You needed some girl to also say, your dick's amazing and I got to have you in me. Like that, nothing else fulfilled that. Not the success, not the family, not the wife, not everybody telling you that you're a super great guy to hang out with, not them being like, I got the meal here. I'm Justin Bieber. But so pretty juicy. Now, where does that go from here? My prediction. He'll be just fine. He'll redeem himself. People want to see him redeemed. They want to believe that if they cheat, they can recover. If their husband or wife cheats and they want to stay with that person, they want to believe that there's recovery. So I think they'll be very accepting and forgiving and opening to him again. He'll probably open up his own church with, and do his like stuff on like Zoom or whatever. Get a bunch of people in that way. He'll probably honestly make more money starting his own thing in about a year. Watch this. Mark it down as one of my predictions. Real Housewives of OC. You guys, I just saw an interview with Bronwyn on E! News or Entertainment Tonight. She's not talking to any of the housewives and any of her castmates, which is kind of interesting. And it's all because she says that the main problem in their relationships is that she said that Shannon Beador said that Gina's house was sad. And Shannon Beador says, I never said that. I said it was small. I mean, I don't know why Shannon would say that my house is sad. I mean, I don't know that it's the happiest place, but I don't know that it's sad. And then they investigate because it wasn't caught on camera. Was it sad or was it small? Did Bronwyn get the 2 S words mixed up? We will never know, but it's enough to end apparently friendships over. The show, COVID has not hit yet, so we still have regular filming. I don't know what's going to happen after, but we're going to see that like they've run out of toilet paper and whatever. And they're doing the same thing on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And I have to say, it is when we see the actual COVID stuff happening, it's just kind of sad and depressing. And it's like we know where it ends up. The same place it was in March, we're here today. But people are just going out with masks. So I don't know if we're that interested in it. Okay, now you guys, I'm very excited. Go to heathermcdonald.net. Make sure you join Patreon so that you can get your Christmas card. You got to make sure that your address is correct in the shipping portion. You do that on your laptop. The shipping address has to be correct to get your fabulous Christmas card from myself, my family, and my Juicy Scoop family.